Alright, today we're going to take a look at Chapter 5, Section 2, Solving Inequalities by Multiplication and Division. Don't forget you can always pause and rewind if you need to hear something again, and ask questions in class if you're stuck on anything or if it seems confusing. So, up until now we've been working with equations, but now we're going to look at inequalities, which just means we're using these symbols, greater than and less than. So the multiplication property of inequalities just means if you do something to one side of the equation, you got to do the same thing to the other side. So if you multiply by 2 here, you got to do the same thing on the other side. That's a whole lot of examples, but that's what that whole thing means. So this is saying here, Mateo was walking at a rate of 3/4 of a mile per hour. He knows that it's at least 9 miles to Onyx Lake. How long will it take him to get there? Write and solve an inequality to find the length of time. So, we know that distance equals rate times time, so let's use that to help us out here. So if distance equals rate times time, we could, what are we doing here? Distance equals rate times time. So we've got here 3/4 times the time should give us this. I think what we did is started up here, 3/4 of the miles per hour times time. So this is the rate times time equals distance. That's what we did. Distance is rate is red, time is the green here. So they plugged this in and they said 3/4 of this is greater than or equal to, so is at least, so this means it's greater than or equal to 9. It could be bigger. So when we plug this in, this is our inequality, but now we have to solve for t. So in order to solve for t, what we're going to do is we need to get rid of the 3/4. Do we see how 3/4 is multiplied by t? We need to get rid of it, so we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. Now these 4's can cancel, the 3's can cancel, and we're left with t. T is greater than whatever this is. When they plug that into our calculator, they get 12, which you could probably do in your head. Because what's 4 times 9, and then 9 divided by, or whatever that is, divided by 3. So 36 divided by 3, or you can simplify. This could end up being 3, and that could be a 1, so you could say 4 times 3 is 12. Okay. So that's saying that it will take him at least 12 hours to get there. How about the next one here? So you check this one. So at Mid-Park High School, 2/3 of the junior class attended the dance, and there were at least 200 juniors there. How many students are in the junior class? So we're saying 200 or more, right? Could be greater than 200. So you plug this into your equation to figure out how many students are in the junior class, right? An inequality, and then solve it. When you're ready, I'd say pause right here, and then when you're ready, hit play. Here's what I did. I'm thinking of, which would mean multiply, so 2/3 of the junior class. So I put 2/3 times j. So my first step was in red here, 2/3 times j. This is greater than or equal to 200. So when I did that, 2/3 times j is greater than or equal to 200. Now, in order to get rid of the 2/3, I multiplied by the reciprocal of 2/3, which would be 3/2. Once I did that, 200 times 3/2, that gives me 300. So my answer is B. So now let's look at this one. This is a little bit different because we have a negative in there. Do you see that? Negative 3/5 d is greater than or equal to 6. If we need to get d on the side by itself, we would multiply by the reciprocal, which is what they're doing here. However, when you multiply and it's a negative, do you see this negative? When you do that and it's a negative, you got to change your symbol. So this was d is greater than or equal to this, so now we say less than or equal to. And then solve like you normally would. Plug it into your calculator if you need to. 6 times negative 5/3. So we get 10 on this side, so it ends up being 10 is less than or equal to negative 6. Let's go ahead and do another problem here. So you can pause right here, see what you can do, and then when you're ready to check your answer, hit play. When I worked through it, I said negative 1/3 x, so I need to get x on the side by itself, so I multiplied by negative 3/1. So when I did that, negative 3/1, this side all cancels out, so I end up with x. I had to flip my sign, So I ended up with x is less than, and then this side simplified to 30. So my answer was C. Remember when we said when you multiply by something on one side, you got to do the same thing to the other side? Well, same with division. So this means if you've got 12 times k and you're trying to get 12 by itself and you divide by 12, trying to get k by itself and you divide by 12, you got to divide by 12 here too. That's what that means. So in this case, if you're dividing by a negative, we do the same funny thing here where we switch the symbol. So if you divide by negative 8 on one side, negative 8, you flip the symbol since you had a negative. So pretty much if you are dealing with multiplying or dividing and a negative, you flip the symbol. Alright, so let's try some examples. See what you can do here. Hit pause, and when you're ready to check your answer, hit play. When I worked through it, I had 15p is less than 60, and I divided by 15 on both sides, so I got p is less than 4. So I got A. How about this one? Pause right here, see what you can do. I did this one, what did I do here? I did divide by negative 4 on both sides, but when I did divide by negative 4, since it's divided by a negative, I flipped the symbol. So I ended up with z is less than negative 16. So I ended up with B. Okay, so here is your homework for this. Please let me know if you have questions. There should be 13 problems here, so let me know if you have any questions.